All right. Good evening, friends. I am Bishwajit, and today's session is on quantity surveying. And our focus for this short session would be short wall, long wall method. So I will welcome everyone who is attending today's session through Protrainy, which is a company who are trying to upskill civil engineering students and make them industry ready. So we will start off with today's session. So, first of all, we'll go into a couple of definitions to start off. So, the definition of quantity surveying is primarily centered on construction and management of the cost and budget of large projects. So, it's basically these all definitions are basically to make you aware of the basis of what quantity surveying is. So, from the moment a plan is drawn until a large construction project has been completed, lot of calculations, lot of surveying that defines the cost of the project and all is in the picture. So this is what encompasses the quantity surveying. Now, what is the estimation? Estimation is the cost and quantity of material, manpower, equipment, and any other services related to monetary is called estimation. So, a lot of things are involved in a project. We have materials, we have manpower, we have equipments, and all other services which drive a project. The labor cost, the hiring of the machinery, the engineer's cost, the cost of all other legal and everything. So for a project, there is a cost. So everything points out to the estimation. Estimation is the technique of calculating or computing the various quantities and the expected expenditure to be incurred on a particular work or a project. So it's exactly the technique for calculation, as I have been telling you all, is the way how we are quantifying the expected expenditure for a project so that the maybe owner or the bank, whoever is putting up the entire money for the project, they can understand how much they are going to put in, and then they can understand how is the return, and then they can invest. So for that process, we need to get the estimation done correctly. So drawing is important. Likewise, everything is important, but estimation is really very important for making it possible to understand whether the project is viable and what are the costs involved, because it has a heavy transactional issues if we are not quantifying everything on the estimation part. So roles and responsibilities of a quantity surveyor. So a lot of times people are confused that after graduation or maybe after changing a stream, if they want to go to a quantity surveyor, so what are the responsibilities that they should have? So yeah, so these are the responsibilities. So if I am a execution engineer, so I'll have a different set of responsibilities for a project. If I'm a quality engineer, so I'll have a different set of responsibilities for the project. If I am a design engineer, if I am an BIM engineer, so a lot of everyone has their own skill set, own specific roles and responsibilities to make the project entirely a successful one. And everyone is dependable here. Like the roles and responsibilities of the quantity surveyor is the cost estimation, that's most important, cost planning, cost studies, keeping project on time. So a lot of people will ask that how are we going to keep the project on time by quantifying the cost and all. So yeah, a lot of time what happens is, let's take an example of steel. So a lot of times due to various world political issues, the price of steel, crude oil, a lot of times it goes up and down. So for that, a lot of planning has to be done. So likewise, the planning engineer who has to get an idea of when to procure, how much to procure, likewise the cost involved in this procurement and what will be the lead period, lead time, everything has to be taken up by these guys, a quantity surveyor. So then we have the timely payments to the stakeholders. So what is the payment of the stakeholders, like the contractors, like the suppliers? So their payments have to be done in a repeated timely manner so that the project can go hand in hand in time basis. Then again, we have site visit and future projection of task ahead. See, the main aim of mentioning the roles and responsibilities of quantity surveyor here is to make sure that you get to understand what are the roles and responsibilities if you are opting for the career. Let's say you are doing your undergraduation civil engineer BTech, or you are doing your postgrad maybe from different institutes. So, but you should know the jobs, roles, what you are going to do before getting into that. Because after you have opted for that, you don't have an idea of what you are going to do there, it doesn't make a sense for anyone. So, for that, these things are very important, like site visit and future projects of task ahead. So a lot of tasks are parallel. Lot of projects, what I'll say, a lot of projects synchronization goes hand in hand, and some of them goes after one. So everything has to be planned to understand the project goes at a time basis. Cost monitoring and controlling. This is again a very important thing. I'm telling you that the cost involved in the project, like the hikes from outside issues like cost to getting higher end of steel, cement, or even manpower. Like we have seen in COVID, a lot of manpower had to be they fled from the site due to various health issues and also due to precautionary measures. But the project timeline, maybe after the COVID is relieved, they will not get that affected. They will get a lot of effect in that because the mobilization time, mobilization cost, you can't do mobilization a lot of times. Even the manpower mobilization is a big chunk. When you mobilize a manpower, a big amount of manpower, then you'll have to put up a lot of cost at the onset. So you can't have that every time. So the project cost escalates. So a lot of things. Then measurements. So measurements are very important because you get to understand what is the cost involved, what is the per unit cost of the project or per unit material cost, manpower cost, everything has to be calculated. Then contract negotiations. So what are the negotiations when you are doing a contract negotiations with your client, when you are trying to get in the project? So you need to have an understanding that how much you can go cut to cut. Like you can have a, what I'll say, bidding process. So how max you can go. So these all calculations you should do beforehand before you can commit anyone. Else there will be an escalation, you will be in losses. So then preparing bill of quantities, BOQs and tender documents. Obviously, these are very important. So bill of quantities will tell you these are the documents which tell you what are the quantities, like specific work-wise quantities. Maybe if I get a chance, I'll show you a format, typical format of a BOQ. It's something like if I'm doing a plastering, so what is the job description of the plastering, what is the unit of measurement, how much is the quantity for the project, what is the cost involved, and what is the total cost of the entire line item. So like that, it is to be divided. Now then again, the valuation of the construction works including variations. So variations, I've been telling you, this cost like uh, cost of steel, cement, manpower increasing day by day or due to any issues or even safety problems. So these all have to be considered. So these comes up with a lot of experience, a lot of studies, that how much will be that variation, because a lot of variations you can't commit. It has to be very minute, very well placed. So these all things will make you a good quantity surveyor. And valuations of the insurance purposes. So now one of the thing is, you can be from the client side, you can be from the contractor side, you can be from the banker side also. So the insurance purposes for that, you will have to do the valuation of your project. Let's say if I am setting up a crane and due to wind or something it gets toppled down, then what is the insurance value that I'll be getting, what is the losses that I'm going to get in. So accordingly I will buy an insurance for my project. I will discuss with the banker. And so these all valuations are very important. Like if I build up a building and there is a maybe there is a earthquake above a certain Richter scale. So how am I going to evaluate the losses that happen? So these things are there. Now, roles are various stages of the project. So there are specific stages through which the project runs. So there is a pre-tender stage. So in that the quantity surveyor assists the client to develop his wish list into a brief. You get to know, understand what are the wish list of the client before you get to do the project. If I, let's say I am having an irrigation project, so in the irrigation project, are there number of check dams that have to be done, or maybe smaller dams are to be done? So how will be the entire channel of water going, how many mechanical pumps or something are to be used, what will the electricity capacity and something like that, how much will be the cost involved in acquiring the land and all. So these all things I'll get to understand from the client, who will tell me what is his ask. Then I'll go around estimate a sum in developing from the architectural drawings. After these discussions, an architectural drawing will be created. So then after that, we'll get an understanding of the rough estimated cost. Also, at this stage, construction drawings are yet to be available. Exactly, these are all lump sum things that we are discussing. And with that, there is no accuracy of the material. Let's say if I am having a construction at a maybe in hilly terrain, and if I want sand, so it's costlier there. So what can I do? There are various options I can do. Or if I'm going to procure river sand, then what will be the cost implications? So everything has to be chalked out. Roles are various stages again. So you have pre-tender stage, then the tender stage. In the tender stage, you create a BOQ from the full detailed plan, gather the tender documentation. So when you are putting up a tender for the project, you put up a BOQ with the specific ask filled up. So the quantity surveyor evaluates the tender to make sure that the tender priced correctly according to the work done on the site. I can't have a quotation that doesn't bring in the money. Let's say if I quote X amount, and uh, if the total cost that I am bearing for that work is X plus 4, so that is where the QS fails and the company fails. So here the QS has to understand in the tender stage that how much. I was telling you a couple of minutes back also, we need to understand that what will be the tendering stage. Like in the tender stage, how much will be the price up, down, and all estimation in the BOQ that we need to put up. So tender documentation, there is a list of array of documents in the tender. So then you have the BOQ documentations, you have the specifications. Specifications are more add-on documents to BOQ, if I would say. So these specifications will tell you that which are the codes that you need to follow the specific. Let's say for plaster, if I gonna use IS codes, then which IS code, if it's there specifically, or maybe European codes, or for certain constructions, there are not IS codes available. So either we go back to the European codes or to the uh, American or British codes. So it's all again, so tender drawings. So there is again a not very complete set of drawings, but then tender drawings are also a very good form of drawings to consider our project and above that. Then the tender form, the process and all. And then the post tender stage. So the post tender stage where the QS works. So in the post tender stage, QS evaluates all the tenders which have been submitted to ensure the contractors are priced accordingly. Now, yeah, I'll have to, if I am the QS from maybe the client side, or then I'll have to evaluate the uh, tender submitted by the contractors. If I am the contractor side, so I'll have to evaluate the process submitted by the subcontractor side. Now, so that we can get the best price available for the deal. So QS formulates a tender report and submits to the principal agent and assists the client to make a decision on what contracted tender will be suitable. Lastly, the QS prepares a contract documentation. That is very important. For any process, you'll have to have a documentation. So roles, and then the contract stage will be uh, payment. At this stage, QS is responsible for monthly evaluations, RA bills. Contractor submits a claim. You'll have to check it out, work, submit evaluation. Principal agent issues out a certificate for the work, confirming the amount due to him. Now, the contractor raises an invoice to the client based on the amount of the on the certification. Let's take an example. I am a site engineer, and the contractor has done a concreting work. And now, as per my certification, whatever I certify the work, accordingly, he or she would raise up the bill. Now, with that invoice, the bill raised, the QS will check it out with the engineer with the certified document and then raise up the bill and complete the payouts. Necessary requirements for preparing the estimate. So, the drawings and all, like elevation, sections, plans, details, specifications about workmanship, properties of material. So, these are all things that are very important for us, like standard schedule of rates for the current year. So there are government bodies that give you a standard schedule of rates for the current year that we have to follow a lot of times, because these will be an outline guideline for us to do things, how we are going to go ahead with it. Now, we'll come to the most important portion that we'll be covering at this moment is the process, if I'll say. So there are three kind of steps which we follow for quantity estimation. Today we'll discuss focused on long wall, short wall method. but I'll go through what are the steps that we have. We have long wall, short wall method. We have centerline method, and there is a method where we use both parallelly, right? So these three things. So long wall, short wall method. We'll get to an example, calculate the things. We'll get to understand how best we can do with it. So, long wall, short wall method. In this method, the wall along the length of the room is considered to be a long wall, while the wall perpendicular to the long wall is said to be short wall. So these specifically to get the length of the long wall or short wall, we'll have to calculate first the center line length of the wall individually. So see, these things you can study. When we get to the example, right, you will get more clarified on how things happen. And it will be a big help for you because in a shorter session, it is very much suggested from Protrainy side. What I have been told is to get to write to the example, tell what these people who aspire to be a surveyor, maybe quantity surveyor or someone, they would be doing. So we'll go to directly to the example and take it up. What is the thing, and we'll for the things that maybe in 20-25 odd minutes we'll be closing. So since this is a short tenure, so we'll go to the examples. Centerline method is again will this method is suitable for walls of similar cross sections. Here the total centerline length is multiplied by breadth, depth of respective item to get the total quantity at the time when cross walls or partitions of veranda walls join in with main wall. And there is again a combination where both of the things work out. Now we'll go directly to the example, right? So what we'll do is, yeah, uh, we'll take this example here. If you can see in the screen, there is a 4.2 by 3.6 dimension room. Here, your long wall is obviously 4.2 and the short wall is 3.6. And the thickness of the wall is 0.3. All right. Now the section that I've drawn here is, you can see here, you can see I've been highlighting that is you have a ground level. So here the ground level is, so these two are above and this is the plinth level, right? So for now we are going to follow long wall short wall method and try to calculate the excavation quantity, cement concrete quantity and brickwork quantity of this entire room. We are taking a simple example of a single room of 4.2 by 3.6 meter. Let's go to this. So first of all, length of the long wall. Right now, this 4.2 is the inside to inside, right? This is the dimension of inside to inside, and 3.6 is the inside to inside of the shorter wall. For calculation with long wall, short wall method, what we need to do is length of the long wall. So for the length of the long wall we calculate, we'll have to get into uh, a calculation where out to out length plus 2 into half projection. So we'll go, let's consider for your simplicity, what we will do is we'll go ahead and, yeah, let's take an example of first up, excavation of the foundation. This what I have now pointed out, excavation of the foundation. So where is the foundation? Your foundation would be entirely of this, right? So what we will do here is we'll get on the quantity. First of all, length of the long wall and length of the short wall. So yeah, now let's get to the calculations. Before that, there is, since you can see length of the long wall is out to out length plus half into 2 into half projection. All right. Now, what is the half projection? We'll have to calculate half projection. So first of all, breadth of the item. So what we'll do is half projection breadth of the item here would be 0.9 minus 0.3 and then we'll divide it by 2. I will go back to the, yeah, okay. Yeah. So here, breadth of the item. What is the breadth of the item? The breadth of the item is 0.9. You can see what we are doing is excavation of the foundation. So what is the breadth of the item? Even though you are excavating from ground level to the bottom, if you can see this area, so you'll have to excavate entirely, right? Because you can't just excavate this and have a trench like this and then trench like this. So you'll have to excavate entirely. So now the if you want to reach this bottom, so you'll have to what you'll have to do is you'll have to consider 0.9 as your breadth of the item. And thickness of the wall, you know the thickness of the wall. So the thickness of the wall is 0.3. We have already mentioned, yeah. So 0.3 the thickness of the wall. So as per the formula goes, wherever you'll have to calculate the length of the long wall, you'll have to go to the half projection. So half projection is breadth of the item. See, now item will be different. Now we are only considering about this thing. Now we are only considering about excavation of foundation. So this item only. So if I'll change the color for your understanding, yeah. So this is 0.9. So now what we'll do is we'll calculate this. So 0.9 is the breadth of the item. You can see half projection and thickness of the wall above plinth. So above plinth is this. I have mentioned the plinth level PL, and this above plinth is 0.3. That is the wall dimension that we have already mentioned in the here. So now we'll divide it by 2. All right. So now we have the half projection of 0.3. Now we'll go to the length of long wall. Now what does the formula says in the length of the long wall is out to out length. So out to out length of the formula is now 4.2 is your 4.2 is your into end length, but out to out length will be 4.2 plus 0.3 this side plus 0.3 this side. So it will be 4.6. So 4.6 plus 2 into 4.6 plus 2 into half projection. So half projection we have got this. So 5.2 will be the length of long wall. If I am not wrong. Yeah. So out to out length will be, oh, sorry. This will be 4.2 plus 0.3 plus 0.3. So it will be 4.2 plus 0.3. So it will be 4.8. So it will be 5.4. So now we will go to length of the long wall. Length of the long wall will be 5.4. Now we'll go to the length of the short wall. See, you can go for per this wise. It all depends how you are working or why. I'm trying to simplify as much as I can in. Uh, so let's go to the now. Let's go and work on. Let's complete this then. So how many walls are there? So there will be two walls. This and this. So we have two walls. Now we'll go to the breadth. So the breadth is this one, 0.9. So you have a breadth of 0.9, and then you have the height. Now when you are excavating, right? So what will be the height of the excavation? So there will be something mentioned up. Let's say we have considered here uh, maybe this height, if I consider 0.2, this height again 0.2, again this height as 0.2, again this height as maybe 0.45 something. All right, we'll consider 0.4, and this again this one. Now this is something we consider as a standards on room's height as something about 3 meters. So let's consider 3 meter. So here, since we'll be excavating this entirely so as to reach here beyond ground level, so we'll keep it at 0. This adds up. to 0.6. Right. Now then it's simple is you'll have to multiply all of them, you'll get the quantity. So we'll multiply all of them, we'll multiply 5.832. So that will be the thing. Now we'll come to a short wall of room. So it's simple. We have again two walls, two shorter walls. But right now, what will happen is we'll have to calculate now again out to out length plus two, sorry, for, see, you need to remember for long wall length, you'll have to have plus 2 into half projection. For small wall, you'll deduct 2 into half projection, right? So this is how you will be doing. So here, what we'll be doing is for shorter wall, out to out length. So shorter wall out to out length is this one, like it is already given. Since if you consider any structure, uh, yeah. So here, if you consider any structure, so if you have considered the long wall from outer to outer, so the shorter wall will be inner to inner. It's simple as that. The So a couple of things that you'll have to remember. The longer wall will be outer to outer length. Like you'll have to add the wall, but in the shorter wall, you don't have to add the walls. You'll only take up the inside to inside thing. So here the inside is 3.6 already mentioned. So what we will do is we will consider 3.6. Now we'll have to minus 2 into half projection. So you have a half projection of 0.3, right? So you will get a, now what have we got is 3. So length of the south wall is coming up 3. Now the breadth. So breadth will be same. Breadth, even like you have long wall or short wall or any wall, that breadth will be constant for that specific item. So 0.9, because it is a simple structure. It's not that we'll have considered one wall thick compared to the other wall. So here we have considered all around the same thickness. So 0.9 we'll consider. And that's it. And again, the height will be the same thing. Same thing. We are considering same. Now we'll do the calculations of multiplication. I'll just, using the simple tactics of Excel, I'll just drag it down. So I'll get it at 3.6 ratio 3.24. Yeah. All right. Okay. So what? So now using this, what we generally do is now once you have got the idea of how to calculate this, maybe what I can do is I can come back to you all and you can maybe calculate. If you can write in the text, what will be the total of, I'll just delete maybe. Best thing is I'll delete this one and try to find out answers from you all. What will be the short wall of the room calculations quantity if you can tell me? I don't know if you can take your time, but if you can text it out, I can see that, and that will be great. I'll try to help you out if you need any support from my side. I'll try to do that because if you are learning together, then we learn. Otherwise, we lose it. So whether I have successfully done that or not, to test it out, I'll need to get to understand whether you are able to write it down. So I'll just request all of you to text down if at least handful of people also are able to answer, then maybe we we can win that. I'm still looking up for answers from your side. If anyone can tell us, I'll wait for a minute. Try to get an answer from you all. If someone can give an answer, then it's all fine. or else I'll tell you what will happen. So we'll give more time to people to understand, or maybe we'll not reveal the answer of that. But what we'll do is we'll go back and try to solve more answers. Uh, so what we'll do is we'll take an example of cement, concrete, and foundation. So what you can see from the screen, we'll come back to the point once more, but we should not be wasting a lot of time. We'll have to wrap it up as soon as possible. So we'll go back, cement, concrete, and foundation. Now let us consider we are doing a concrete in this, let's say. So the yellow portion that you can see will do a cement concrete in this foundation, right? So here what we'll do is we'll go on calculating the volume again, same thing. So the long wall here would be, we'll go back to the same old strategy. Long wall would be two numbers, same thing. We'll calculate the length. So for the length, see, these calculations are only for that specific thing, so we'll have to change again. Here the half projection, so the half projection for this thing, since it's the same formula, breadth of the item, here the breadth of the item is same, so it's 0.9 again, and item of the wall above plinth is 0.3, it's same, so the half projection will be same out of the length, same thing. There is no change because we are considering the same for the area where the excavation we have already done. Only here the difference would be, in the excavation the height differed because we were doing the excavation for this area, but for concrete we are doing only for this area. So we'll just since it's the same, so I'll just type it out, 5.4, right? And it will be again same, 0.9, but here only the difference will be the height, so 0.2 is the height, only this item 0.2. Now what we will do is just easily do a multiplication. Yeah, and that's how we received this 1.944. It's simple as that, I guess. People don't have a confusion in that. Now coming to the short wall. So again, if we are going for the short wall, let me see if people have answered that question or not. Okay, so I think people are not responding. We want to see people respond, otherwise the whole aim of the session won't be there, right? So that should be there. That should be there. So we'll take an example of, again, this thing, short wall of the room. Short wall of the room. See, everyone should understand that the sole aim of these sessions are to make you learn something new instead of just maybe, we don't know, a lot of people do come up for only certificates, but that doesn't help you out, right? We are trying to help you. Even I am coming up for these people at Protrainy is only to help you others to get to learn something when you go out from the session after 40 minutes or something. When you close the session, you will learn something new. It's not that you only would go up, fill a form, get a certificate, because that doesn't help you. You can always do that kind of thing from a lot of other areas. So all right, that's again on you. We'll go back to the session majorly. That should be our focus. So yeah, here the same thing. So long wall, what we'll be doing is guess length of the short wall. We already have calculated long back. It is 3, and yeah, 0.9 is again the depth of the short wall, because uh, like breadth of the short wall, that is constant, that is same. And again the height. Here again the height will be changed. I hope everyone is clear on that part. Now we will do a simple calculations. This is only a multiplication. 2 is the number of wall, 3 is the value we got it from here. These calculations, if you all have followed, and it's simple as that. Now we'll get to the assignment that was given to you. So yeah, 2 are the number, length is 3, breadth is again the same 0.9, because long wall and short wall breadth was always the same, and the height is 0.2. Sorry, yeah, height is 0.6. 0.2 was for the concrete. Yeah, I just got confused. So it's 3.24. This is what it's coming up. Now I'll take a final note. Let's take an example of maybe second footing. So this is your first footing. This is yours. All right. What we'll do is we'll take an example of, yeah, what we did is for the second wall, second footing. So we'll delete this one. We'll start off from new, because for first footing or second footing, everything will be different. Everyone is different, right? I hope everyone is clear. If there is any other confusion, or you need some more clarity on the front, you can text it back. We'll try to solve it out. If you think that there is a problem on your part or something, if there is a problem, I'm still waiting. If you have a problem, you can let us know. What we'll do is, as told, we'll take up the second footing because no responses we are finding of from here. I'll just copy this out for your help here. Okay. So for long wall, again for second footing, the long wall's number would be same. So it will be 2. For long wall length of the room for second footing, first we'll have to calculate the half projection. So for that half projection, what we need to do is, so your second footing is this one. So you have second footing breadth item is 0.5. If you can see, if I have colored it in red, yes, everyone can see that I have colored it in red here. I'm hovering. So for the second projection, it's 0.5, and again thickness of the wall above plinth. So the wall above plinth is this one, 0.3. So we have 0.3. Let's take again, and we divide it by 2 as per the formula. So we get a half projection of 0.1. Now we'll go back to length of the long wall. So length of the long wall, for that what we get to do is, we have 4.8, that's same. If you remember how we got the 4.8 is 4.2 plus 0.3 plus 0.3. So 4.8. 4.8. Now for the longer wall, I told you to remember addition 2 into half projection. So half projection we have got 0.1. Half projection we have got 0.1. So it boils down to 5. Now what we'll do is we now have received the length. So if 5 is the length, breadth. So the breadth would be, again, you can see from the section and the plan, if you can correlate. So yeah, that's the thing. So since we are dealing with this red second footing in red, 0.5 is evident, height is evident, 0.2. Now the quantity. So for the quantity, what we'll do is we'll do a multiplication of everything. So it's 1. It's coming up to 1 cubic meter. Likewise, you can calculate for all other walls. I'll do a final task for you. You will have to calculate this one. If you can see uh, in in orange, we'll close this with this task. If you all can answer, if anyone can answer on this, we'll wait for a minute for this one. I need this quantity. I put up a question mark. If anyone can tell me, then we will be happy enough that yeah, we were successful in training you something. We need this value. If anyone can answer this one, we'll close after this. Like, if anyone can answer this one, what will be the value? And we are open to queries if you have regarding the calculations. We would be happy enough to sort that out. But before that, I'll be happy if someone can answer this question. What will be the question mark? What will be the question mark? I am looking up for it. I'm looking up for it. How can we get it? No, it's not that. It's not that. Whatever you have written, but it's close enough. Please try. We want more answers. No, it's not 0.88. It's not 0.88. Please try once more. And if you have other questions also, please put up your questions in the chat box. We'll be try to help as much as you can, as we can. 0.76 is an answer from one of you. Okay. Okay, no, it's not that. It's not that. Will I'll try to then again maybe there's a miscommunication from our side or something. We're not able to train you, but we'll try to do that. But that's great if you guys are coming up with answers. That's pretty good, pretty good. We want to have more and more answers from all of you so that we can 0.88 and 0.76 both are not right. Do you have any more answers? Only everything. I'll give you a hint. Everything will be the same. Only the length of the long, short wall, that is this area. You are calculating for this. The only decisive factor will be this. I have written in X. So this will be the deciding factor. You'll have to calculate this correctly. Rest everything is all same. You'll have to calculate this one in green, and rest everything. This will come up. So if you are doing a mistake on calculating that green part, yes, you are doing the entire mistake then. Any more final answers, or we'll go to directly? Okay, so I'll not wait for more. What I'll do is, so two numbers of walls that everyone knows. Now we'll go to the calculation of the short walls length. So for the short walls length, what we'll have is, you have out to out length. Now what is the out to out length? Out to out length is like 3.6. I've already told you that in uh, short wall there is no addition on the part. There will be only as it is inside to inside wall length. So you have 3.6 inside to inside already given. Now minus bracket open 2. Oh, this is 2 into 0.1 is your half projection. All right. Okay. So this would be okay. So now we'll get to know whether you all were correct or not, because I was just guessing up. I didn't calculate. So it would be now very interesting to see if you all, some of you, I don't know, have given up the right answer or not. So we'll see. Let's see. So 3.4, we'll have 3.4 that we got. Breadth again will be the same. Height again will be the same. Now we'll do the multiplication, the volume, length into breadth into height into how many numbers they are, and we get a value of 0.68. So that would be the value. I guess no one guessed that right. What is the issue that arrived? So all right, you can put up your questions in the chat box if you have anything, and we will clear that out. Try to clear out in the next 2-3 minutes or something, and yeah, then we will close this, because we have tried whatever we can, but we are open to questions. Please feel free to ask your questions. If you have any confusion on the calculation part, I'll try to help you as much as I can. Okay. So, all right. I think we are not getting any more queries, but we appreciate all of you to come up with your queries, and Yeah, come up with your queries and all. If you have anything, any ask, Protrainy is trying to help up everything what we all can do, and we look forward. And especially we are, I'll take this opportunity to maybe introduce you to a exam that Protrainy is conducting. It's an All India Civil Engineers examination that that they are charging at 99 rupees and some discounts and all. I guess 50 rupees they are giving, and you can earn up to 1 lakh total. It's prizes worth. So you can register, go out, test your skills, how much you are, what is your ranking all India. So you can test that out. Very good opportunity, I guess. You can go check it out in their website. It's www.protrainy.com/ir. You can go and check that out shortly. And you can always come back to us, write any other queries you have, and we'll help you out. I'm still waiting for any query for the final node of yours, and we'll close this up. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks for your time. See you next week, maybe. Thank you.